All right. Good morning, KW Prosperity. Happy Monday. It is Matt and Mary Beth with you today. Good morning, Mary Beth.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm feeling very energized.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear that because today we will be moving full steam ahead. Last week we finally finished or wrapped up the Shift series, so we can now move on to the Millionaire Real Estate Agent.
Yes. And
So,
I have for us a special edition.
like the first edition.
This is the first edition of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. So some of you who have this, I have not have written on it. I am
Yep.
saving it. I think I might even have a $100 bill in it somewhere. But to give you a little history, is the first time Gary went to get his book published, nobody would pick him up. So he chose to start his own publishing company. And if you notice, this book is printed by Relic, RELLEK, Keller backwards. So shortly after that, McGraw-Hill did pick him up, but talk about a guy with a dream and making it happen. Nothing was going to stop him.
Absolutely. And I was looking, yeah, well, I see your book there, and my book is a little bit more intact than yours right now, but I've had it
Yeah,
left.
mine needs surgery right now.
You've had a lot of love and care with that book.
Absolutely.
What I wanted to do though, before we dove into the MREA, and I was looking in my phone to find the image that you had sent to me earlier, was really, I think right now there's a lot of people who are kind of in a rut, kind of in that like,
Yeah.
oh, another day, like what day is it? Is today Thursday? Is it Monday? Is it whatever? And you shared this really good graph on ways to get out of that rut, if you'd want to share that.
Yeah, so it's Monday, everybody. It is April 21st.
20th.
Oh, April 20th. April 20th. See, but it is Monday.
Yeah.
And I printed this out, and we're going to share it. Ben Kinney, who's an amazing entrepreneur, leader, realtor, everything, philanthropist. So he has a podcast called Win, Make, Give, and he also has the Ben Kinney Company's leadership mentoring group. Just a couple little plugs there because they're really amazing networks to be involved in, especially at times like this where we can get into a rut. So this specifically says, and there's a challenge that's starting today. So I have taken the full challenge. I have my water, I had my protein shake, I had my journaling, my praying, we had worship music on, all sorts of stuff. But it's 15 steps to break out of a rut in 30 days. And so assuming that we only have less than 30 days left in this rut, let's be positive. Exercise daily. Don't drink your calories. Don't sleep too much or too little. Never skip meals. Never allow negativity around you. And that may be hard for some of us right now with our home environments. Just everybody's, kind of going stir crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Journaling, praying. What I did find is there's a 5-minute journal. A good friend of mine, Joe LeBron, introduced this to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it really gives you a nice, easy layout of I'm grateful for 3 things, what would make great today, and then daily affirmations. So you could kind of get a few of these done in one. Pray, say what you're grateful for. Like I said, review your written goals, have a whiteboard, kind of laid out the week. We're just looking at weeks right now, right?
Yeah.
We're looking at the 90 days, but we're really just concentrating on what to get done with the week. I did put on their GPS because it would be really wonderful if everybody would redo their GPS in where you'd like to see yourself go in the next 90 days. And that would be 1 objective, 3 goals, and then 5 strategies on each goal. And we can go through that in another session. Personal growth, laugh daily, do a hobby daily, focus on others, protect and limit your time alone, and don't work more than 50 hours a week. So there's some really great things there. We'll share this out. You can also go to Ben Kinney Company leadership mentoring page. And I'm going to encourage you to also share with us what you're doing to keep your mindset right. Because if you keep your minds in the right place, your thoughts, your actions will follow, your emotions, all ties up together and creates a great you. So
Absolutely. Now, so I guess we can kind of dive into the MREA. And really today we're kind of giving a snapshot and introduction to the book. And Mary Beth, you probably know this story because I've heard you tell it, and I think I've internalized it too now. How the catalyst of the book became about. Why did Gary say, you know what, it's time for me to write a book? Who, talking about why this book
yeah.
came about.
So I don't know everything that happened there. However, I know the book was written in 2003, 2002.
Yep.
And Gary starts this book. The MREA, as Matt keeps referring to, is actually the Millionaire Real Estate Agent.
Yep.
So sometimes we adopt language that our audience may not, and we do it all the time. Our killerisms, and in our industry, when you're talking CMA, comparative market analysis, let the consumer understand what we're talking about. So
Yep.
just wanted to be very clear. This is the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. It is not how to make 100,000. It's really truly how to create $1 million business in the real estate world through models and systems. So when Gary wrote this, Gary Keller, who is the founder of Keller Williams in 1983, and Gary has always there's always models and systems as to foundations of business.
Mm-hmm.
And I know from way long ago, Gary always meets with his top agents. Mm-hmm. And whether it was a group of 5 or 10 or 50, and now Gary is meeting a couple different top groups, yet he does meet with the top 200, I believe, in our company on a monthly basis. And so this book was culminated from the stories of all these successful mega agents that used to join together for mastermind groups with Gary.
And Mary Beth, this isn't just Keller Williams agents.
No.
There's no brand specific element to this, which I think makes this book extra impactful, is that it's not just, it's people from all across the industry.
If you go in the back, which is page 313, right? Page 313, it starts to give you all different stories. And that's CC Sells. I don't know if some of you remember back in the day, Chris Cormack, Dave and Judy Crockett, the Crockett's. Oh my goodness. So anyway, there's all these people from all different brands. It's not just Keller Williams. So what's really nice is Gary, if he was going to write a book to put models and systems to a millionaire real estate agent business, he went to the source. He went to the top agents that were masterminding. And I mean, some other great ones, Linda and Jimmy McKissick, the Harkers, the Johns, Debbie Zoe. She was partners with Dave Jenks in Vegas. Oh my gosh, the Ubaldinis. Anyway, so there's all these really great names of amazing, amazing leaders in our industry. And so together, their stories make up the real estate models that we know today that we find in the MREA.
Well, and I would even say that these are business models. I would say, yes, they're real estate models without a doubt, yet I would say a lot of the foundational elements and the models that we're going to talk about throughout the course of the next couple of weeks really could be anybody, whether you're looking to open up a pizzeria, whether you're looking to open up anything over the next little bit. These are really foundational models for any business.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because when I really started to embrace this book, and keep showing it to you because you see those tabs, Matt, if you could show your book, after a while, they created a leadership version, and Matt bought the leadership version. So I do want to make sure that we remember our resources for all of the books can be found at Keller Inc., KellerInk.com. You can find books to purchase with the tabs. You can find audio, tons of free resources and downloads, and then all the other books that I'm sure we're going to get into some of those next. And so what I wanted to encourage is this book, when I first started to use it as an agent, everything changed for me when I took the course, the 24 topics with Holly, Holly Perry at the time. It's Holly Prescott now. And we're going to have her joining us tomorrow at 2:00 on our Leading Through Crisis series.
Yep.
And so she changed my world when I started to look at the book truly as a manual that we could go back to. And so that's where this bound idea came from. Whereas now you can flip it open and you can use it as a manual. So much that they even suggest college kids, high school kids, if you have those hardbound books, you may just want to take them and get them bound so that spiral bound so that they could use it as a manual. You'll use it more. And so since then, I mean, there are some real topics here that are life-changing. So, and in any business. But when I first started to use the book, I was not a team leader, and I had a friend named Brian Foreman who still to this day runs the Freehold Dodge dealership, and he and I would discuss the models, and I would show him how it applied to real estate, and he would take a look and see how it applied to car sales. So if you're an entrepreneur, business owner, we're going to suggest that you use these models and just flip the hat. You know, we're talking about real estate, you're talking about your product.
Absolutely. And as we move along a little bit, pages 19 and pages 21, I just wanted to highlight them real quick, because one of the things that we got in the habit of doing in the Shift series was reading the quotes that ultimately started the chapter. And the two quotes that start the preface or the introductory chapters of this book, number one is by David Lloyd George. He's the former Prime Minister of England. And he said, "Don't be afraid to take a big step if one is indicated. You can't cross a chasm in two small steps." So is that, and then that also ties into what Isaac Newton said on page 21, where he says, "If I have seen farther than others, it is because I was standing on the shoulders of giants." And that really gets into the preface or the first part of this chapter, which really talks about aiming high and really keeping that mindset piece that we started to talk about in the Shift series, because the mindset piece is going to be what's going to propel you to the success that you will have. But ultimately, he tells a story here about aiming high, and ultimately he would go out with his son and essentially go hunting. And one of the things that Gary said is that, you know, if you aim high, you'll have a better chance of hitting the target. You need to aim high in order to hit that. And I think Gary, you know, has really, in the 7 years I've been with Keller Williams, aiming high has always been something I've heard him say constantly on any stage I've seen him really speak out.
You know, it's not even only Gary. He has hand selected those who are closest to him. And so he makes sure that the people that have been around him, and always through the days of Mo Anderson and Mary Tennant and John Davis, Mark Willis, everybody, also Chris Heller, you know, to anybody who's been around him has always set the bar that we're going to be going here. We're going to be taking number one spot. We're going to do the trifecta. It was never just, we're going to incrementally grow naturally. It was usually we're going to hit a milestone, and that's what we're always aiming for. And most times it does take us a few years to get there. And yet the vision is casted by the leader to say, we're going there. To the point about the story with the wolf is, if you're overshooting, you have a chance of hitting it. If you're aiming for it, you're probably going to come short of it. And so it's better to set that. And yet it does speak a little bit here when we go into the next couple parts is, don't aim too high that it's unattainable, because with that comes great defeat and resentment of your own expectations, and that could actually counter work for you.
Absolutely. And I think one thing that I like that on page 22, he says it's really about the fact that most great achievements in life are the result of thinking big and aiming high. And I like that because you and I were just talking last week, and we talk about this a lot, between the scarcity mindset and the abundance mindset. Yeah. And the successful people are going to be coming from an abundance mindset as to, you know, for example, in an agent perspective, it's like, okay, well, I don't want to train somebody else. I don't want to help somebody else get better because I want the business all for myself, as opposed to like having the abundance mindset where it's like, there's enough business to go around for everyone. My sphere, it's unlikely that it's going to overlap with your sphere. And having that abundance mindset is going to really propel you to that great success.
Another example would be somebody who really doesn't want to maybe hire an assistant,
Hmm.
and that assistant, even though it may look like 10, 20, 30, $40,000, also may be that person who takes you to that next level.
Yep.
And so that scarcity mindset, now clearly if you don't have it and you don't have a set of reserves, um, that's a whole nother story. And we are dealing with a lot of that as well. And a scarcity mindset may be, I have to pay my bills right now. I
Yep.
have nothing coming in this way. Geez, what can I do?
Yep.
And it may take some people right out of the business. But I want to remind us that what you're doing now, what seed you are sowing right now, and what a perfect time. We were just reading that in one of my Bible studies about the sower
Yep.
and the thorny ground and the dry grounds, and the sun's going to burn it up, and the birds are going to get it, and all of that. And then yet if you have great soil and you have good seed, it's going to happen. However, right now, if you have a scarcity mindset that I don't know if I have enough seed, I can't lay this seed right now because I got to lay this seed when I get out of here, and you don't start doing the activities because you're just so fearful,
Yeah.
you're bound to receive nothing, get yourself out of the business. And I am concerned that some of the people in our industry are taking that mindset. And I pray that if you need us to talk you through something, just reach out, and just there's plenty of information on our sessions to get you to get that mindset right where it needs to be.
For sure. And I think one of the differences between the Shift book and the MREA, not that we did these backwards, because obviously we're, where we were when we started the Shift series is different. But the MREA is really, you were talking about hiring talent. We're going to be talking about specifically when to hire, how to hire, and ultimately the cost benefit of you being able to take some of your hours back to be able to put towards something else, and you're going to ultimately make more money than you would have by not having the admin in place.
And we're also going to talk about, you need to earn your way to that point.
Correct.
And that way is not, well, I just got my license, I did 5 deals, it'd be really nice if I had an assistant. That is not it. You are your own assistant at that point. Yes, you might want to immediately outsource some marketing pieces and marketing, and because telling your story,
Yep.
your story and the way you tell it is ultimately the game. And so if you're doing all these amazing things for your community, and you're making all these wonderful phone calls about where the market is, and yet you're not telling people that that's what you're doing,
Yep.
your story is getting told by somebody else that you're not really working, right? So I don't know where I just went with that, but
No, absolutely. But I think it comes down to, again, like the introduction part of this chapter or part of this book is really just talking about the element of running a business as a business.
exactly. And so to that point is, while you're earning your wings to get to the point of, hey, I want this amazing big business, I want people working with me, and while you're getting there, there are math problems. There are, I want this, there's conversion ratios, there is daily accountability. I want to take the woo out of what we do in this industry, that the work behind the scenes has to be purposeful, and you're in charge of your own schedule. So what we're going to go through in the next couple weeks is pure business planning, the strategies around it, the models to support it, and then you'll know that you have 2 coaches that you could talk to about wherever in this book you are stuck. We also have a section we're going to talk about just being stuck and being able to be recognized that you're stuck.
Yeah.
So I assure you, Shift was important because we needed to take that fear out of what was going on, because we'd been there before, we've seen it, and quite frankly, we became number 1 as a company.
Yep.
Out of it, and we had some really amazing businesses grow out of that last shift. And so now we're going back to foundational business models.
Well, and the other thing I can say too, like leading this with you, I mean, I've taken other MREA classes. I've read the MREA a couple times. You've read it, as you can see, your book probably thousands of times. But the validity that you bring with this, I mean, I know you were an agent, you know, 12,
Yeah.
13 years ago, but it's been a while since you've been an agent. But one of the things that I like that Gary writes on page 33, in terms of how you and I are going to be able to provide a lot of value to our agents and to viewers who are watching us on Facebook Live with other companies, um, Gary writes, there is not a lot of difference between a well-run real estate office and a mega agent's real estate sales team. Both have buyers and sellers who drive the bottom line. They
Right.
have administration and infrastructure, and they have what is essentially a CEO coordinating the team's activities to increase productivity and profits. So we're going to talk about how you read a P&L, how to make sure you have your own P&L, and all of those types of things that you really excel at. And I'm excited to teach this with you.
I'm looking forward to it. You know, the fact that you're saying all this is for our independent brokers who may not also have some resources. This is for broker managers at our competitors. We welcome you to watch this series, even jump on and be involved. We're doing this for our industry because if we can just once again take the fear out of it, it is business planning at its best. As
Yep.
Gary, Gene, Mark, plenty of people we've been interviewing lately have said, double down on the activities, and just know that if you have good soil and good seed, it will harvest when the harvest is coming. And
Yep.
the harvest may not be there just right now, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't stop taking care of the garden, right? And so that's your database, and knowing your inventory is one thing, but knowing pure numbers of how many contacts you should be touching and how often and budget models and all that, we're going to cover that.
Yep. No, absolutely. We're going to cover all of that. And I think, to circle it back, because we just have a couple minutes left on today's call, circling it back to where Gary interviewed top agents in the industry to ultimately create this manual. So just like anything else, when scientists or when mathematicians and different people are creating textbooks and different things, they're leveraging data and facts and resources, and all the things that Gary's going to be talking about as we go into the 3Ls: listings, leads, leverage, as you said, the economic model, budget model, lead gen model. They're tried and true things that top agents have been using in their businesses, and that's what we're going to be training on.
And what I love about it is I'm always learning, right? So I've been with the company 16 years and the book has always been with me. So, but you just keep learning and learning. So one of the things that I did learn is that the 6 personal perspectives are built into the front of the book. And although I knew them inside and out, I guess I just never realized that was what the first part of the book was. So it's real fun that we get to do these kind of 2 courses combined. And I will also post out the 24 topics cheat sheet that we put together so that we have that.
We will post that out. I just want to highlight, so with the last couple minutes, I just want to say for those watching along, tomorrow we will not be doing an MREA class. We have a What the Tech, how top agents are succeeding and thriving, leveraging technology, leveraging virtual mediums. So that's tomorrow at 10 a.m. We post flyers out, emails out. We have a ton of panelists that you'll be very interested to hear from in terms of mastering the market, understanding the market, the customer experience. We're going to be talking about all of that. So Mary Beth, I don't know if you want to give a plug for that, but tomorrow we won't be doing MREA. We'll be picking that back up on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's right. So we had, and here's how, guys, we're being flexible also. We had this event planned for the beginning of April called What the Tech, and you'll need a cocktail for this. And we were going to have it as a cocktail party. And, we just had to be flexible, and our panelists were flexible. So we are really excited to be able to bring this to you. It is from 10 to 12. There's a registration link. And some of our panelists are some of our top coaches in our organization, as well as our technology specialists. And then you'll also be hearing from our leadership. So that combined with some mortgage advice as to what is going on in that Marketplace is going to be a great combination for a very timely message. So I really encourage you to get registered so that you have your information to get on tomorrow at 10 a.m. So follow Matt. We'll go ahead and post that out as well.
Yep, I posted it on my personal Facebook page a little bit ago, so feel free to get it there, share it,
Same here.
or send an email to me or send an email to Mary Beth. I know a lot of you get, if you're not with our office, the Monday Mojo, so feel free to reach out to one of us that way as well.
That's right.
So with that, we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow at 10 a.m. for the What the Tech. And then Wednesday, we'll be coming back here and we'll be talking about, I think the next part of the book is the fundamentals and then the myth understanding. So we'll be doing that probably Wednesday and Thursday.
And we would love for you guys to just stay plugged in and invite others to join us on Fridays, starting next Friday, because we're going to miss Tuesday. So we want to get in a little bit of the flow. But starting next Friday, we are going to be having our masterminds on Friday at this time. Yep. On the topic of the MREA. So we would like to open up all of the video and audio on Fridays during this time. So guys, if you don't want to be seen, that's totally fine as well. But we're going to encourage you to jump into this community and let's be a resource for each other. So if that's it, we will see you tomorrow.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you, everyone, for who tuned in. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.